So, in the last episode, we were talking about exploring our unconscious mind and rewriting the program. And later we discussed setting up a vision board and having a vision, and how to go after that vision. And in this episode, in this talk, we will be learning to embrace the silence, and then we will look at how to prioritize our goals and dreams. So we do have lots of dreams, lots of tasks to do, and we will learn. We will take one by one, and we will learn the strategy, the plans, the method, the skills, to go after these dreams, go after this task, and do it one at a time. So first, before that, let's embrace the silence. Years ago, I was always afraid of silence. So I kept myself busy with lots of other stuff. I kept myself just, reading, watching stuff, or talking to people, or, just exploring something new. Always I was afraid to be in the silence. And it took me, that's one of the reasons why it took me really, a long time to start to practice meditation, because meditation is just embracing that silence, that quietness that surrounds us, and being in that quietness, in that void, in that nothingness, and experiencing whatever that there is, just seeing it as if as if it is, instead of just busying with all the thoughts that we are surrounded with, or that we are bombarded with. So silence is just observing my nature. It's observing myself. It's observing my surroundings, my habitat, and acknowledging, seeing them as they are, acknowledging them as they are, and accepting them as they are. And that's how you embrace the silence, if you were to ask me. And that is one of the best way to embrace, because once you start to embrace that quietness, that solitude in its purest form, what you will recognize is your inner heart, your inner being start to speak to you, and you will be able to listen and heed those words and make right decisions. Now, I'm not talking about pseudoscience. I'm not talking about some what impractical methods to overcome something or to gain something. I'm not talking about any of that stuff. I'm talking about real science here. What happens when you meditate upon a subject? So there has been lots of research about my meditation, and especially mindfulness. And most of these meditations have proved that it has a tremendous effect on how we think, how we perceive the world, and how we respond to certain situations. And every outcome that we have is the results, is the consequences of the decision we made based on how we perceive the habitat or the environment or the information that we receive, and how we respond to it. So my question is, when there is a critical time, when there is a crisis, do you think that you will be ready? Do you think that making a sudden harsh decision often put you, or in a very comfortable position to act in the right way? Or do you think that every time when you find yourself in a crisis, do you think that that situation, that crisis would allow you to think clearly and respond accordingly? Of course not. because when we are in a crisis, of course, that's where we become more creative. But uh, creativity comes when we are more, when we are relaxed. So I'll be talking about that later, that part. But when you are relaxed, when you have some time to think about it, you have all the possibilities right in front of you. But when you don't have that, when you don't have enough time to meditate upon, when you have very, very less time and you are in a crisis and you need to make the immediate decision, the problem is you're stressing out. So your internal system, your body, your mind, your brain is not in balance where you can make a right decision. Now, this has been proven after studies and research after research, and people, especially people, juries, and judges who were put in an experiment actually proved that when these people make decisions in a haste and very hostile environment. Now, this hostile environment could be very uncomfortable situation where they needed to make a sudden decision, or it could be very uncomfortable situation. So when there is an uncomfortable situation, a stressors, or some kind of uncomfort or difficulty to deal with that situation, people often make haste and often unhealthy judgment, and that often put them in a very different situation, or the consequences would be completely harmful. And that's one of the reasons why every time before you start doing something, before you start making the big choices, before you start making that big decision, meditate for a moment. Just think for a moment. What am I going to make? Whether this decision is going to change my life. And that's why this embracing the silence is really important in changing your life, in impacting your personal as well as your social career life. Because when you embrace the silence, you let yourself to open to all other possibilities. You accept whatever that there is. You accept the problem. Now, when you accept the problem, you can also start to seek for answers, for solutions. So accept that silence. Embrace the silence. What I suggest you is, go to your living room, go to your, a very quiet place. It could be under a tree, it could be in your field, somewhere, it could be in a beach. Spend some time in solitude. As you take each breath, just observe the nature as it is, just seeing them as it is. And the thing that happens when you're doing is you feel as if you are leaving out all the worries, all the stresses from your life. And that will put you back to normalcy, back to this balance, bring you balance. So the best thing, it's before you make a decision, before you start to start something that's bigger, the best thing that you can do is to embrace the silence. Just observe the silence, be in the silence, just feel that silence and let that silence speak to you. Because most of the times truth speaks from silence, or when we are in silence. I don't know whether the truth has a very solitude in nature. I don't know if it has. Maybe that's in a very philosophical way of saying. But what I have found is silence often speaks the truth. And it allows you to look at all the possibilities and analyze them. So, spend some time from your busy schedule. Go to your room, your living room, it could be, or it could be your bedroom. Light a lamp there, and sit for some time. It would be really good if you have some plants around, close to you, and just simply breathe. Acknowledge your body being there, present in that moment, in that silence. Observe the air that's passing through you. Observe the breath that you take. Observe the flows of your blood that's moving through your body. Observe yourself. And then, now when you do this, one problem is, we are bombarded with thousands of thoughts, and we tend to think office, that work and this mission and that thing to do, lots of stuff. But just be in silent and then observe. When you think that your attention is going away to some other thoughts, acknowledge that it's happening. Take it back. Just simply be here in the moment. Your mobile phone may be ringing. Maybe there might be someone waiting. It's okay. Let them wait for 5 minutes. Let them also embrace that moment there. So I would encourage you, when you do that, if you are in a meditative mode, and if someone is waiting out there, I would encourage you to just put up some notice where you write, in a meditative mode, just wait for 5 minutes. And if you have some shelf in your, in that place where people often wait for you, set some books for them so that they won't be just missing that time. They will be, reading or just getting something better. So then just sit there. Don't care what's going on outside. Now it's time to care what's inside, what's going on inside, what's going on in your surroundings, what's going on in your heart. It's time to just observe and see, feel. Because that's what it matters. It matters that you have a normal, balanced life. Because what you're going to go, when you go outside, you're going to help people out. You're going to lead a community. You're going to lead an organization. You're going to lead a family. And so in order to get that power, that energy, it's necessary to, spend some time for yourself, to be in that reflective mode where you just embrace that silence. So when you embrace that silence, it takes you to the places that you have never thought possible. Many times, if you look at the literature research, what you find is people discover something new, or people become so creative when they are, most of the times, are relaxing. And they relax, they keep their mind wanders off, because oftentimes it's very difficult to think hard in any specific subjects, or it's not possible, because still when we do that, we are just stressing out. But what we can do is to relax some time, embrace the silence, and then think for a moment. And later, who knows, while you're just observing this nature, suddenly an idea pops up. There you go. You have the very idea that you've been searching for. Who knows? I don't know that it would happen. And don't expect when you're doing it. But it happens. We have evidence. So embrace the silence with all its ugliness, with all its beauty, with all its holes. There may be lots of holes and ugliness in the silence, because when you are silent, and when you just observe yourself, you may be, you may acknowledge your true personality. What's beneath you. And for some people, it's devastating. That's what it to me, when I started my journey. I started this journey, and when I started to meditate, I realized that I wasn't really, using my true potential. I wasn't really, helping people. And when I realized that most of the things that I'm doing are not really worthless, and it was really painful for me, thinking about that. So often lots of truth came to me when I was in a meditative mode. So take some time, meditate, and let that truth come out. Embrace that silence. And once you embrace the silence, the next thing is go back to your place. And we have a big task to do. Prioritizing our list, prioritizing the things we want to do. So make a list. You have a vision now. You want to contribute to the humanity. You want to contribute to your community. You want to be the ideal person you wanted to become. So you have a big vision right there in front of you. You have set that aside. And so one suggestion that I have is when you set up that vision board, or probably most of you have set up that vision board. When you set up the vision board, draw a symbol of that vision and put it at the center of that vision board. Draw a symbol of it, so that that symbol always resembles who you are, what you are. Over years, you could also change that, because your priority, your goals, your visions also changes as you move along, or it becomes more refined, more defined. And when it becomes more defined, it changes. But at the moment, it is better to put a symbol at the center of it. So it reminds you of who you are, the person that you wanted to become, the person that you are here, right here, at the core self. And then sit some time freely and take your goals. Now you may have lots of goals. Read them one by one, acknowledge them, and take one. Just put some numbers beside those goals. Put some numbers, and put those numbers in a priority wise. What is the most important thing that you wanted to do? For example, this year's one of the goal is to help 10,000 leaders to become leaders, to become the pointy leaders, to lead communities and organizations. So that's the mission I have at the moment. So I'm focusing on that. So 2022 is solely focused on that. So that's the one thing that I want to spend my most time for. And so it's also, when you write down that dream, that task that you want to do for this year, you also need to consider other tasks that are related to that. And then you need to ask yourself whether this year's task or goal is in alignment with your vision, with that symbol that represents whatever that you represent, whatever that you are here at the core. So ask yourself whether each of these goals, 1, 2, 3, the prioritized goals, align with the vision that I have, take me closer to the dream that I have. So ask yourself, and then put them in a correct format, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and write down in a timeline. Write down in the first goal, and under that timeline, the first goal, write down the sub goals. What are the sub goals that you need? For example, here for me, to train 10,000 leaders, 10,000 people, I need to first find out who these 10,000 people are, and then I need to train them, so conduct events, invite the trainers and leaders and scientists and experts who can deliver that, who can fulfill that vision. So I have all those sorts of things sorted out. And so you need to, under that priority list, the first priority list, the first goal, note down the things that you wanted to do. So it could be either in a month wise or 3 month wise. So the first 3 months you might be focusing on something, second 3 months, and then based on now you have set a goal for 2022, and you have also set a few other goals that you sub goals that you need to do in order to fulfill that very goal for 2022. And then make a timeline on a daily basis, how much time you want to spend on this sub goal that will allow you to make that bigger picture for 2022 happen. So write down, for example, morning first hour, what would you do? The second hour, what would you do? Third hour, what would you do? So prioritize your daily task list based on that. Also prioritize your time with your personal things, like spending quality time with your children, spending quality time with your spouse, spending quality time with your family members, with your community members, having a nice conversation with your team members, because those things matter. That's what this, that makes our connection stronger. So spend some time, quality time, not just for 5 minutes, just spend some time, because during these times, we also get rejuvenated, more energetic. We also realize we can also share our vision, our mission with our family members, with our team members. This is also time where we share our love or kindness. We ask each other, what happened to you? We get to know, understand people, and then we help them. So this is when you do that. So spend quality time on your personal things, personal matters, like spending time with your loved ones. So once you have prioritized this, go to the second goal, and then third goal, and then fourth goal. And ask yourself whether each of these goals are in alignment with your vision, and whether each of these goals take you to the next level. Ask yourself, and then meditate upon it. Embrace the silence. Meditate upon it. Look at it and take the next step. So I hope that you have a wonderful day, and don't forget to subscribe my channel if you haven't subscribed yet. Subscribe the channel and listen more such beautiful classes, beautiful conversations. And I also would love to engage with you. If you have any doubts, queries, any questions, or any suggestions, any advice that you'd love to have, you can always just write your comment on the comment box, and I'll be able to in touch with you. So I hope that you have a wonderful day, and thank you for listening.